Hey guys, welcome to another edition of 3SSR Footy Hits. I'm John Nono here, as always, with Peter Saros. Pete, right. Welcome. Off the top, I got to apologise. You made the call last week that Jared Grant was going to play, and you got lucky. I will admit you got lucky because he was a late inclusion.
Doesn't matter who played.
He was a late inclusion, but I did give you a bit of a hard time last week for mentioning the fact that Jared Grant might play this week. I do apologise. He wasn't too bad. He got 13 disposals, and I think he might have kicked a goal. So apologies off the top, but you still make some horrendous calls.
Doesn't matter. I've made that one right.
And you should have tipped Brisbane this week as well.
The one time I didn't tip Brisbane.
But anyway, we'll get to that in a moment. We'll go through round 21 action. Been a pretty good round. 2 rounds to go to finals, mate. It's all getting very serious now. And a few reports that we have to talk about as well. Geelong and Carlton kicked it off on on Friday night. And this was an absolute belter. The Cats got up by 6 points. I think they got up by about 5 points the last time they played. If you remember the Joel Selwood goal after the siren. What did you make of this game?
I thought it was pretty good. We knew that Carlton and Geelong have always been good matches. Even when Geelong were at their peak of their powers and Carlton weren't that great a few years back, Carlton and Geelong have always been pretty close. So it's been a good match, and it resembled what we've always seen from them.
Yeah, absolutely. Geelong, it was goal for goal there. Stevie Motlop kicked 3, Troy Menzel 2. Carazzo had 32 disposals. He's finding a bit of form late, and Josh Caddy was very good for the Cats with 28 as well. On Saturday afternoon, it was the Buddy show. We mentioned last week that Buddy had an opportunity to go ahead in the Coleman, and did he what? He absolutely took that opportunity and ran with it. I think he's 5 ahead now. Kicked 9 goals, 3. Had an opportunity, 9 goals, 4. Sorry, had every opportunity to kick 10 goals against my mob. Just couldn't get it done. Kurt Tipper kicked 3. Shining light for the Saints though was Jack Stephen, 31 disposals. Did really well in the game against Sydney. Luke Parker had 33. What do you make of this game?
You guys weren't in it at all. I think I saw it and it was 56-15 at one point. Something really not too great.
No.
I didn't watch much of the game, but from what I saw, you guys didn't do the best of efforts.
No, it wasn't a great game. I wasn't expecting all that much out of it, to be honest, but probably the biggest talking point out of this game was Josh Kennedy's hamstring. Will he or won't he play? It could cost him the Brownlow. We found out now, it's only a week. It's only a nick on the hamstring, so he could play this week, but they won't risk him, so he'll probably play next week. I think he can still win the Brownlow, even missing 1 week.
Yeah, it's just 1 week if you think about it, and it's a season award. You don't win it because you've played 2 or 3 good games. You win it because you've had a good season. So if he has had a good season, so I think he's going to win it.
Spot on. Now the Power were tested by gallant Gold Coast Suns on the weekend.
Very low scoring match.
Very low scoring. 56-47 was the final score. 9 points in the end. Harley Bennell was great. 2 goals, 27 disposals. He was a leading disposal getter. And Robbie Gray. We keep talking about Robbie Gray. He's a very good player. Come in his own this year. 26 disposals, 1 goal, 1. The Power, they faltered a little bit, but they got the job done when they needed to. They'll probably still finish in 5th spot, you would think. Get that home final against the likes of, we don't know, because it could be West Coast, it could be Adelaide, it could be Richmond. So you would think that they would get that home final at the Adelaide Oval currently. Now, this, I reckon, was the game of the round, Essendon West Coast. This was an absolute belter. Essendon had come from 34 points down to win the game.
It was only 3 points in it at the end. West Coast, I'm not a big fan of them. They started off amazingly. I thought they were going to be a top 4 contender at the start of the year, and they completely dropped off. I think they lost 5 or 6 games in a row.
They won their first 4 or 5, I think, but that was against teams like St Kilda, GWS and all that. They didn't beat anyone of note, and then I think they came up against a pretty tough run and couldn't win those games. But to their credit, in the back end of the year, they've beaten teams like Adelaide, lost to Richmond, obviously.
I think they beat Collingwood?
Did they beat Collingwood? I think they beat Collingwood as well, yes. So, look, they're thereabouts. I think they could be a smoky because I'm pretty sure they've got an easy run home. I think they've got GWS maybe Melbourne and someone else who's easy. So, look, they could still sneak in. It's anyone's game there at the bottom half of the 8.
That's right. There's about 4 teams if you count Collingwood. I don't think they're going to make it.
I don't think either.
There's still about 4 teams gunning for that 8th spot. So it's going to be an interesting one.
Absolutely.
Who I hope make it. But
Dyson Heppel was outstanding. This bloke is pushing his way towards that top 5 in the Brownlow. He could win it. You know, he's a massive smoky. Dyson Heppel is a gun. I think he had 15 third-quarter possessions or something. Ended up with 39. Michael Hibbard had 32, and David Zaharakis continues to kick the goals when the chips are down.
That's right.
Kicked another late goal to win the game, and he's becoming a late goal
I
specialist.
think he's kicked the winning goal on the Anzac Day twice.
Twice, and against Carlton last year, late in the year. So
he just gets in the right spot at the right time.
He just times his run to perfection, really. Collingwood and Brisbane, this was the most shocking result of the round.
Well, not only because Brisbane won, but
how they won.
Yeah,
by how much?
It was a big win. Collingwood don't even look like they were in the match at all. It was a very big win, and Tom Rockcliffe is obviously dominating.
43 disposals. This guy, again, we speak about it every week. He could finish on top of the Brownlow. Ineligible, obviously, but look, this guy is an absolute star. Jono Freeman, I think he was playing his first game from memory. Kicked 4 goals, 1. Daniel Merritt 3 goals. Tim Broomhead 3 for the Pies. Pies have faltered, as I always say. Good for footy that the Pies probably won't be in the finals.
Good for footy.
We'll see how it all plays out, but I think they might be in a little. I think someone mentioned the rebuild word. Don't know if they're at that yet with the calibre of player. They've got.
They should be firmly in the 8.
Yeah, I agree, but I think injuries have cost them a little bit as well. Ben Reed's had a few setbacks, and a couple other players you saw on the weekend. Tony Armstrong had to play 2 games. He played in the VFL and then came in. He was a late inclusion in the AFL side. So
I haven't seen that in a very long time.
No, I don't think I've ever seen that.
Deledio did it a couple of years back.
Played two games in a row.
Deledio did it in 2008, and he's the last person I saw do that.
Now, this astonishing run continues. Adelaide played Richmond. Adelaide coming off a 6-day break in Brisbane.
That's right.
In the heat. Now, you must be ecstatic because you've got St Kilda this week and you'll probably flog us.
I was at work when I was watching this match. Not at the G, I was at another job. And I sat there and watched the whole last quarter and did not do a thing at work. And those last 2 minutes absolutely killed me because they got back in front. They got back in front with a minute and a half left. I thought, crap, we've lost it. Right, we've dominated the whole match. We've been in front the whole match, and to come back and kick that last goal, it was fantastic.
Brandon Ellis, your man, 31 disposals, keeps racking them up. Deledio had 29 and 2 goals for. Geez, a bit inaccurate. He could have had 6.
Yeah, but he's been dominating it late since he's come back from that injury. He's absolutely killed it, and it shows because Richmond's played very well. Absolutely.
Trent Cotchin's putting his hand up for a few Brownlow votes as well. 1 goal and 28 disposals. This man, Anthony Miles, is a gun. The fact that GWS let him go is bizarre.
We got him for free
because
as well.
He's a star.
Rookie listed player.
Yep, absolutely, and it's bizarre that GWS let him go.
I was surprised that he made his debut so late because I think he was best on 2 of our 3 NAB Cup matches, clashes, and he was best on for 2 or 3 of them. So I don't understand how he made such a late debut, but he's done it and he's dominated it.
Yeah, now the Roos fought out a hard. It was a hard fought win, but they won by 50 in the end. I think the first 2 quarters didn't. They were tested, and then after that. They ran away with it. Ben Cunnington kicked 4. Sam Gibson had 31 disposals. Big one out of this. Boomer Harvey's been suspended for 3 weeks for that elbow to Liam Picken. He'll miss the first final. It could be the end of the season for him because if they lose that first final, they're out. A bit of a brain fade by Boomer.
Yeah, a little bit. A bit disappointing, to be honest. And I thought it was a bit harsh. I don't think it was as bad as what Lake did a few weeks ago. And
Lake got 4.
Lake got 4, but Lake's had a bad record.
Yeah.
So Boomer hasn't had that record.
Boomer did have a bad record because if you remember, he missed the first 6 games of this year because I think he tripped or hit someone in the final last year. So, he's got a bit of a hot head, but he does it at the wrong time of the year.
Yeah.
Boomer. Relax, Boomer. Come on, you're too good a player. Ryan Griffin had 30 disposals. Andrew Swallow, 29. And the Bontempelli, 23 disposals, the favourite for the Rising Star. Get on him. Excuse me. GWS took on Melbourne, mate.
We both tipped Melbourne here.
I think we did. No. If you remember, I tipped GWS.
I'm pretty sure you tipped Melbourne.
We'll look back at the vision. I tipped GWS and I tipped Freo. You tipped Melbourne. So
Pretty sure
don't ever question my tipping ability ever again. I knew what was going on.
I'm always going to question it.
GWS were phenomenal in this. Reece Palmer, 4 goals, 17 disposals. Tom Bugg found a bit of form with 33 disposals. Melbourne were woeful. Couldn't move the footy. Couple of injuries. Jono Patton, unfortunately, has his second knee reco. Callan Ward did his calf, and I think Phil Davis was out with concussion. Made the win all that much better, because they had one bloke on the bench rotating, and they absolutely flogged Melbourne. First win in Melbourne, biggest win they've ever had.
Yeah, it was great for GWS fans. Melbourne would be incredibly disappointed. They've had such a fantastic improvement this year. They've improved immensely, and to go out there like that against the team that was last disappointing. And I think Melbourne are last now, aren't they?
No, St Kilda are still last, just on percentage, which I hope kind of stays, because I want pick 1, because we don't want Melbourne getting a priority pick, because I don't think they deserve it, to be honest. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that another time.
They're usually wasted as well.
Yeah, exactly. We've got to get through these games quickly. The last one, Freo took on Hawthorn. Freo found their mojo again. They could really push in September if they get that 4th spot. They could get a home elimination final in the second round should they get this. Should they lose? What do you make of this one? This was a cracking game. Pavlich kicked 5.
Good game. Hawthorn, I don't think we're at full strength though, so we don't know what's going to happen come September. We never know what's going to happen come September. But, it's a good indication that Fremantle are going to be up there and they're going to be really in the hunt for a premiership again after losing last year's grand final. Matthew Pavlich, 5 goals.
Jordan Lewis, 44 disposals after getting hit by Nat Fyfe. Speaking of, he got 2 weeks for what he did to Jordan Lewis. Another brain fade on his behalf.
Another Brownlow favourite right there. He's one of the Brownlow favourites.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't have won it anyway because of what he did earlier in the year.
Oh, that's right.
But, it was just a brain fade. I've read this morning, he is challenging the call. He wants it downgraded to 1 week, maybe a reprimand. Can't see it happening. Looked pretty bad on the vision, so can't see him getting that overturned. Now, quickly, Pete, let's go to tips before we wrap up. I just want your tips straight up. All right, Port Adelaide are taking on Carlton Friday night, Adelaide Oval.
Carlton.
Okay, I'm tipping Port. I'm tipping Port in this one.
I'm going to go the hard option. The risky ones might get ahead of that way.
Put it this way, you need North Melbourne to beat Adelaide.
I want North Melbourne to flog them.
You need North Melbourne to beat Adelaide for Richmond to get in the 8.
North Melbourne all the way.
Yeah, I'm tipping North at Blundstone Arena, but no Wells, no Harvey. Could be...
No, North Melbourne all the way.
Essendon taking on Gold Coast, Etihad Stadium.
I'm going to go the Bombers. They played very well against West Coast to get back in the match.
Yep.
Gold Coast haven't shown us enough for me.
I'm going to agree with you there. I'm tipping Essendon against Gold Coast. Now... Are you game enough to tip GWS against Collingwood? Because I think I am.
I think I am too. We're going to both tip GWS here.
Yeah, because I think Collingwood are vulnerable.
GWS.
But on the other side of it, Collingwood could work on what they've been lacking, come out this week and beat them by 100 points.
Or they could not.
Yeah, that's true.
Lose as well.
I'm tipping GWS. West Coast taking on Melbourne, Patterson Stadium. West Coast by 100.
Yeah, maybe not 100, maybe 95.
Hawthorn Geelong, this is going to be a belter.
That's going to be a very tough match. I'm going to be at that one because I'm really interested in it.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a tough one because Hawthorn have that problem.
Come on, we need a tip.
Hawthorn.
Yeah,
I'm going to be a little disappointed from last week.
I'm tipping Hawthorn as well. I think Geelong have faltered a little bit of late, so I'm tipping Hawthorn. Brisbane are taking on Freo. You game enough to tip Freo? Sorry, to tip Brisbane.
No, I think I'm going to tip Fremantle.
Yeah,
they've been very good.
Even though Brisbane were very good last week, I think I'm going to tip Freo again at the Gabba 110. Sydney taking on the Western Bulldogs.
I'm going to go Sydney.
Yep, same. Etihad Stadium. And St Kilda and Richmond at the MCG. Lenny Hayes' last game in Melbourne.
Well, all that Lenny Hayes' last game. Richmond's form's been fantastic. I don't see you guys having a chance. I'm really sorry.
I don't think so either.
I think we're going to demolish you.
I think it could be a close game in the end, to be honest. I think it could be a really good game.
No.
I think the Tigers will get.
We are out of the finals
I think
by
the
percentage
Tigers
right
will.
now.
Yeah, I think
out of the finals, but we need to thrash.
The Tigers
you
will
guys.
get the job done.
We
Look,
need to destroy you.
That's
guys.
all we got time for. Before we go, Pete and I have decided next week we'll change it up a bit. Me and him, we're going to take each other on the goal kicking competition. So keep an eye out for that, and that'll be good because he thinks he can play footy. Can't get a game for his local team. So I'm going to take him on. We're gonna have 5 shots each. And we're going to finish off with a torpedo and see who wins. So,
hang on.
You keep watching.
Key backman against a forward that can't get a game.
Yeah.
I reckon we're a pretty even bunch.
We'll see how we go.
For goal, anyway.
We'll see how we go. But until next week, I'm John Donohoe. He's Peter Saros. Good luck to your team this week.